First special, 31 years old. I'm very, very proud of you, man.
Thank you so much, Joey.
This is big. And I was thinking about you the last 2 days. It's bigger because now you got to follow it. See, I'm 52. I got one special in me. Once it's over, I can't follow it. I have to put my whole heart into it. Have people die in the audience and shit, because that's it. Now you're going to shoot 8 specials, and all of them got to be like fucking the white dude that died. What's his name? Carlin. Yeah. So it's good. But it's good to have you here.
Thank you, man. I'm excited.
Always a pleasure. What's up with you there?
I'm doing great. It's fun. Like with Tony, I've known you for a couple of years, and when I first met you, you were doing like the podcast with Red Band, and like that's like an amazing thing about podcasting now is we've seen you go from I'm not gonna say open micer, but just someone at the store, and now your special is coming out on Netflix.
Right, it's insane. You're absolutely right. I might be probably. I mean, I don't know. I didn't look into it, but I might be the first person ever to go from no TV stand-up spots whatsoever. I never did Conan. I never did The Tonight Show. I never did a spot on Comedy Central.
Why is that?
You know,
you're clean, you're young, you're handsome.
With the network stuff, I think it's because I'm clean, but my material is definitely edgy. You know, all my favorite jokes, the stuff I like to talk about is I like to take dark subjects and make them funny. I don't like to talk about funny stuff and make it funnier. I like to talk about stuff like I was just telling you, I have this new movie theater shooting bit. It's like I like to make the crowd go, in the beginning when I'm starting, I want them to go like, no way, what's he doing? And then I want to see those same faces that are looking like they don't trust me straight to fucking cracking up. I want to see that transition. I want to see that change. And that's the type of stuff that I love. So with the network, there's that. With Comedy Central, I've been in their writers' rooms for years and years and years. And I think personally, maybe
they look at you as a writer.
I think they want to keep me there.
Good. At least you know where you stand. You're not, my first couple of years, everybody kept saying, when are you going to Montreal? And this was way before 9/11. And after one day, I just stopped. I said, you know what? I'm not going to war with these guys. I'm getting spots at the store. I'm getting spots at the Improv. I'm getting spots at the Factory. Mm-hmm. What difference does it make? I'm getting my point across right here in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Sometimes a lot of young comics, I see comics now, I bump into them. I'm like, what's up? I'm still having struggles at the store. So you walk around wounded 60% of the time. You know what? Do a spot somewhere else.
Yep.
The store, when the store's ready for you, they'll let you know. You'll be ready for the store. Mm-hmm. But for you to walk around wounded, you hate Adam, you hate this guy's not giving you spots. Listen, man, when I first got here, Jamie Masada fucking despised me. Mm-hmm. Just despised me. And then I was friends with Ralphie, then Ralphie fucked him. Then I was more despised by the guy. And one day I got a phone call at my house, and it's him saying, you're always invited to come to my comedy club. Was I mad at him? 10 years ago, I was going, fuck you, bitch. I needed you 10 years ago. But you know what? Just that at least, the bigger the man, the bigger the fucking mistake. Hey, man, 10 years ago, you came into my club. You said something about a finger in somebody's asshole. I can't have it at 9:30. And I didn't like you. I heard some drug stories. Hey, I wouldn't have liked me either.
Right.
But just the fact that you called, you know what I'm saying? Not everybody's going to like you in any business that you do. So if nobody's going to hinder your success, they're just not going to do business with you. Mm-hmm. And so you go on and move on to do business with somebody else. And someday, either they're going to be sorry they didn't do business with you, or they will do business with you.
Right.
But don't you look at it as they're hindering your success?
At that time, because we don't know better.
Right.
At that time, because you have no wisdom. You have no patience. When you have no patience, when you love something as much as we love this, and you come to this town and you're living on the fucking floor of your friend's apartment, and you know you're fucking funny, and you know you fucking got it, but you have a couple elements missing. You don't see it that way. You want the same envelope they're getting. And now that becomes a different demon that you're fighting. You're fighting demons that you can control and demons that you can't control.
So what separates you then? Because I'm sure there's a lot of the crazy people in this town who I know I'm funny. I'm funnier than all these people, but they're just crazy and they're just open minded. It's just that's all it is time.
Listen, how long are you gonna fucking be here with this? And I hate saying this shit. This is why I have a problem also doing Kill Tony. Mm-hmm. Because I don't like stepping on somebody's dream. So who the fuck am I to tell you what time it is when you leave this fucking town? Who the fuck am I to tell you what to do with your dream? Not your career. A career and a dream is something different. When you first come here, it's a fucking dream that becomes a career and sneaks up on you. Mm-hmm. Okay? That's what happens. But for me to judge you and say, Tony, if you don't make it in 10 years, you might as well get the fuck out of here. That's wrong.
Right.
So now you have to step in with logical solutions. I bumped into a lady at the coffee shop. She goes, you might not remember me. I did comedy 10 years ago. She goes, I finally quit 4 years ago. I wasn't getting anywhere. It was ruining my marriage. It was ruining me as a mom. Now I do it as a hobby. I accepted my feckin' fate. Mm-hmm. But for you to come at me after 24 years and say, hey, I'm thinking of doing a podcast, like you've done everything already. Success is what you judge it. Mm-hmm. I know you've had inner demons at the Comedy Store.
No doubt.
With no spots. And then you have to look at the lineup and go, you know what, man? There's 8 motherfuckers in there. I go on the road with Rogan. I got 2 spots. What else do I want?
Right.
There's motherfuckers that do not. I remember bitching at the store one night, 12:45, and somebody said, you don't want the spot? Put a fucking sign out and see how many people sign up at the 12:45 spot at the Comedy Store. Everybody wants to do a spot at the Comedy Store, and you're bitching about a 12:45 spot. But this doesn't even apply to comedy. This applies to anything in personal life, the impatience we have.
It's true. And I've grown so much over the past year with that. Like, Adam is that you keep bringing that up, and it's like such a true situation. I've grown as a human and as a man from it personally. It's been like my biggest expansion in the past year and it's been something I've been doing this 8.5 years, every single night for 8.5 years. And finally it's starting to click. Like, everybody will come around. It was tough because I dropped back, hours in the lineup at the Comedy Store. I felt like I was one of the only people getting demoted. But as time goes on, Adam gets me, I get Adam, and everything's figuring itself out because I'm not stopping the work. If I stopped working and I let it get me down and bum me out and wasn't writing new material, then I'd be screwed. But instead, I'm manning up and just pushing forward, and look what's happening. Sometimes you give people no other choice, other than to show them what you can do.
I don't know the situation, but for me, I had to work on, if it's not under my control, like, why would I stress out about it? So you looked at it as a demotion, but then maybe Adam is just looking at it like, hey, I'm bringing all these other people in. They got to go somewhere. It's not anything against Tony.
Right.
And it's not like anything you do or you getting upset about it is going to affect it in any way.
Totally.
So it's really hard is to be like, I can't, nothing I do is going to affect this.
Right.
So I just got to forget about it.
You made a beautiful point. You've
Yeah.
been doing comedy for 8.5 years. Mm-hmm. And I'm your Uncle Joey. Let me tell you what I had going on at 8.5 years. So June of 91 is the first time I got on stage. So what's 8 years after that? It's June of
99, 2000?
Mm-hmm.
In 99, I had shot a pilot for CBS. That didn't get picked up. That was highly touted. I made good money on it, the whole thing. I had picked up the movie Basketball, which at the time was, this was their fucking big movie.
You're in Basketball?
Yeah, they were in South Park, and I got hired out of the store.
Yeah.
Which gives you that, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, it's the best.
Somebody saw you last night, they want you to go audition. Yeah. That's a great fucking feeling, okay? I had no manager. I had basically no agent. I had the coloring book, 2 black chicks in the Warner Brothers lot that sent out paperwork in fucking coloring box, tubes and shit. You just can't believe this. I was fucking, nobody wanted to talk to me from Montreal, APA. None of the big agencies would even talk to me, even consider looking at me. I was friends with Joe. Joe was starting to go on the road. He was taking Chris McGuire. He wasn't taking me,
right? Which
made me feel even worse at that time.
Yeah.
But the broad side of it was that I didn't know the truth amongst men. I was getting 6 spots a week from Mitzi Shore. Mm-hmm. And every time I would feel bad, I go, doesn't matter. Because the chick who's made most of the careers in this town believes in me. She gives me 6 spots a fucking week, sometimes 7, because I hosted. I hosted Sundays, and she'd give me Monday through Saturday. Every great while, she wouldn't give me Wednesday. But pretty much, I was getting 6 spots a week.
And just to let you know, like, I can relate to that because that's finally towards the end of his tenure. That's what I worked my way up to with Tommy. And I know you didn't like Tommy and this and that, but I will say this, is that he was in that cover booth maybe doing more than just watching comedy.
He was stealing money.
But he was also paying attention to those shows, and he wasn't a big like, yeah, Tony, you're doing good, so I'm going to give you whatever you want. He was the opposite, to where he said things to my friends like he'll never pass me, this and that. And you know what it did? It fired me up, and I had to kill. There was no other choice. I couldn't just do good. So I had to stand out of everybody over and over and over and over again. And then I got all the way to exactly what you're talking about. Anything I put in my avails for, I was there. And I was clicking up to the middle again with no TV credits. This is way before my Netflix special, 3 years ago. And without anything other than my killing. You know what I mean?
Tommy didn't do all bad at the store.
Correct.
He did some bad things. Yeah. What topped it off, why he lost face, was he was clipping money out of the register.
Right.
Once they catch you clipping, you don't have a leg to stand on. They got him on film. His name is Candid Camera fucking Tommy. They got that motherfucker on film. I'm surprised Jamie Kennedy didn't pop up from under a table. Okay, and I feel bad for Tommy. I have no hatred for Tommy.
Right.
I didn't like what Tommy did at the store in the beginning when I was there, and I want people to understand that. The store is my world. The store was my world.
Totally.
When I tell people this, that you can't disrespect the store, you can't do 1,000 things. And hey, everybody knows I did 1,000 bad things at the store. I never got in front of my comedian brothers and sisters. You know, there's people that come in that are not store people, and then there's store people. I would never get in the way of one of my store brothers at all. I cheer for them even behind closed curtains.
Yep.
That's the secret that I have. Before I leave my house every night, I take the remote from my wife, whatever the fuck she's watching, and I put on to see who's going to be on Jimmy Fallon. And I see who's going to be on after Jimmy Fallon, and I see who's going to be on NBC. And if it's somebody from the store, I tape it purposely. Whether I talk to that person or not, or whether I see that person. Who did I tell you rocked my world last week, Lee?
Eliza.
Fucked my shit up Friday night. Fucked it up. Say what you want to say. These dumb fucks that say women ain't funny. She fucked my world up.
Wow.
My dick was so hard going into Saturday. And then you know who killed it? That fucking kiss of that Tina Fey and her chubby friend on the Christmas Saturday Night Live with their pathetic fucking comedy and the patheticism of people who watch that shit.
Yeah.
And the patheticism of how it's become this fucking thing. And I don't even know what the fuck you're laughing at.
Right.
Elijah was funny. Yeah. That's a girl that goes to the store in between killers with that tight little body and that beautiful smile and makes you forget she's fucking hot.
Right.
Most women want you to think they're hot. For Eliza makes you fucking forget she's hot. I was trying to look at her thighs and her ass and her legs, but I kept giggling like a fucking cunt at her fucking jokes. I was a giggly fucking girl, at the same time enthusiastic and cheering for fucking Eliza. You know, Eliza came 3 years after I left. It doesn't matter.
Right.
She's one of my fucking comedy sisters, and that's it. Our friend that's going to be on the show next week. You fuck with her, I will go to fucking Schrader, I will dig up that gun, and I will shoot you in broad fucking daylight and do the 20 years. You fuck with that little white girl. What's your friend's name?
Which
Sarah Tiana?
I dare somebody
That's my girl.
in the history of their life while I'm alive on this planet for somebody to fuck with Sarah Tiana. I will put more bullets in you than that black guy put in the fucking front of the Comedy Store. And I'll do it. I'll grab you by the head and I'll shoot you in the main room out of respect because I'm sacrificing my soul right there. You fuck with that white girl.
That's my number
and
one.
See what the fuck I will do to you.
Once a week.
I will pipe you to death, shoot you, light you on fire, take you on Sunset, run over you, shoot you again, then put you up on the 170 where you belong, cocksuck, up there in the weeds. It's just, these are your comedy brothers and sisters.
I always say that I'm so with you on that, Comedy Store brothers. You know what I mean? Like, I always say that my least favorite person at the Comedy Store, if I saw them getting beat up somewhere in a dark alley, anywhere else, I'd be right there taking shots for them. And that's just, and that's the thing with the store. And I think that the people that believe that about the Comedy Store are the people that get the most out of it. If you put it up on a pedestal, if you treat it like it's bigger than Madison Square Garden, then that's the level that you're performing at. If you go, oh, the Comedy Store is just another club, it's like the Laugh Factory, it's like the Improv, it's like the, if you think that, then What's raising your stakes? I feel bad for people that don't look at it like it's the chapel, the church, everything. Yeah.
I don't even listen to music on the way to the comedy store.
I love that.
Do I pick you up any night to go to the comedy store anymore, Lee?
Not really.
No. I drive by myself, and I turn the music off.
Quiet
and I
before
think
the
of
storm.
Where I'm going, how lucky I am. I think of 1998 when I used to cry myself to sleep from wanting to be at the store, and here I am. When I was at the store in 95, 96, and 94, the addiction had taken over my love for the comedy store. And I was just basically going to the comedy store to, on the way home, pick up Coke. And to just tell myself that before I did the Coke, I did a spot. I'm that responsible. But I wasn't getting anything out of the spot.
Right.
When I left the store, it was a two-way street. I was happy to leave the store. I have clipped cell phones from the store when people would lose them. In the beginning, there was these bank robbers that used to hang out with Eddie Griffin. They had a phone store as a front on Crenshaw, and whenever people would lose their phones, they would return them to Lost and Found, and I'd come in 2 days later and clip the phones and sell them. I once took a bill, $100 package of money that the manager left out by mistake in my coke-addicted ways from the comedy store. But if you go to the comedy store on like any given day about 1 o'clock, the liquor department in those days used to leave all the booze outside.
Oh, yeah.
All you had to do was take 2 cases and go up and down Sunset and sell them for wholesale.
To where?
You walk into anybody.
Anywhere.
How you doing?
Whiskey a go-go.
How
anywhere.
you doing, man? Listen, I got a truck of Baileys that just fell off a truck. I got 6 bottles. I just stopped at the liquor store. You know, they go for 24. That's 140, whatever the fuck it is. Give me 50.
And they're not scared because I was going to bring this up. A few weeks ago, this dude at the laundromat came in with 4 huge boxes of Tide. And I was there, and I saw the woman come up and buy it from him. And he's like, we just started talking. He's like, yeah, she asked me for this a few days ago. I didn't ask where he got it from.
The point of the fucking story
Are you serious?
being, I never took the bottles. Even in my cokiest fucking ways, I had some form of respect for the store. I never called Scott, Jimmy, whatever, Kelly, Frank Kelly, whatever his name is, Princess Corey, Duncan. I never called them in my heart, I swear to Mercy's eyes, I never called them and said, Tony Hinchcliffe curses too much, he can't go in front of me,
right.
or he talks in front of the audience. I took my medicine at the Comedy Store, and I took it from Mitzi, sure. And I've said this 1,000 times. I took the medicine that Don Herrera had to serve back then. He was unfollowable, and Paul Mooney was unfollowable.
Yeah.
And the black kid with dreads was unfollowable. And it was my home. The only thing I did at the Comedy Store was I drink and I snorted coke. And looking back at it now, it was very disrespectful. I looked at the guys before me and I thought it was cool to do that. It's not. It's disrespectful. That was my home. But I learned, I got my life together, and I go back there and I treat it like I treat it. I go in, I do my spend, and I leave.
Yeah.
And I give support to the young guys.
And you said something interesting there that I think plays into the going up later at the Comedy Store thing about how it's, when you get great and you master following the best, then you get used to that drug. You know what I mean? And you love it. You worked your way up from the late night to that clump. You're following Paul Mooney. You're following Dom Herrera on fire. And that's another thing that happened with me. A few years ago, all of a sudden, I was in the mix. Chris D'Elia, then Tony Hinchcliffe, this unknown. Rick Ingram, Monster, who when I got there in 2007, I looked and I was just like, what the
Rick Ingram's
fuck
a fucking... You got to be careful
this?
with Rick Ingram. You got to be careful. If he gets a good win behind him...
gone.
You're gone. You're gone.
He's unbelievable.
A couple of weeks ago, he had my heart pumping. He had my little heart pumping. I was high, and I'm like, I got to follow this shit.
But there I was following him, following everybody, Caparulo, this and that, whoever was there at the time. And my point is like, I come from the school of Rogan. When he says, fuck, putting on a half-ass show. That's why I bring the guns with me. He brings you, which is a joke. If you don't know comedy, nobody would take Joey Diaz to open for them. That's insane. He takes Ari Shaffir. Duncan, these monsters. These aren't just. It's not just because they're our friends. That's part of it. That's why we made friends with them, because we love killers. And a thing that happened is like when this transition happened a couple of years ago. I went way back, and now all of a sudden I'm having to rebuild the room instead of following. A lot of people are deathly afraid in stand-up comedy of following somebody good. And I'm the opposite. I go, let's put on a show. It makes it special. When you hear that crowd thumping, you're like, the way I look at it is, I can get that out of them. You hear that volume? That means that it's possible to get that out of these people. Let's do this, And that's why I had you even open up for my 1 hour special. Comedians, one of the best comedians at the Comedy Store said to me, he goes, hey, you're shooting your special, you're trying to shoot a special in a few days, huh? He goes, I go, yeah. I go, check it out. Joey Diaz is going to open the show. He goes, that's a terrible idea. Don't do that. He's going to go and there's not going to be anything left. It's going to be.
No, it was the opposite.
It was the opposite. And that person,
I know how to do the opposite.
Last night came up to me at the Comedy Store and goes, dude, I told you to not have Diaz open for you, and now you got that shit on Netflix. And it is.
Listen, I almost called. I sit here sometimes and question mine and Rogan's friendship. I really question it. Because I don't know what the fuck he's talking about half the time. I don't know what the fuck he's talking about half the time. But I look at Pete last week and I'm saying this. I don't know about my stand-up. I don't know about my acting. I don't know about my writing. I don't know about nothing. I say this with the fucking highest conviction in the world. Last week on UFC Tonight, they voted the best training camp to train at. Some people went with AKA. Some people went with Greg Jackson. In my book, it's Greg Jackson. I'll tell you why some other time. But in my world, my friendship was last night. I'm gonna tell this story. Last night I went to the Ha-Ha and then I went to Flappers. I was by myself. And on the way home, I was pulling up and I stopped at 7-Eleven and I bumped into the kid who wrote the book for Sex and the City. Fuck! Great kid, rocker guy. Rocker comedian, had a talk show in the daytime. I've known him since 97 out here. He's done great things. Comedian kid, had an HBO special. I saw him last night. I go, what the fuck are you doing up here? He goes, my band rehearses around the corner. So I started talking to him for a little while. On the way home, I go, let me just call Joe. I know Joe was at the Comedy Store last night. It's 12:15. He's either down there or he's driving home. And I called him up, and sure enough, he's going through a drive-through. Do you know I sat in my car from 12:15 to 10 after 1, pretty much talking to Joe. I even went back outside, got high, and called him back. And we talked about, where have you been this week? I told him I went to a Mexican room, and it was shell-shocked, and I was starting from scratch. And I went to the Ha-Ha, and I told him what I had done all week. And he's like, I really like your strategy. We were talking about comedy strategy, how to rebuild yourself, how to go down to one of those Mexican rooms and start from scratch, and then go to the Flappers, and then go to the Ha-Ha, because the Comedy Store is completely different. But how to get that just talking on stage, just talking. And I realized it when I went in the house at like 1:30 that, Jesus Christ, me and this kid just talked for an hour and a half about comedy. At the end, we mentioned families. How's your girls? Good. How's your girl? Great. Bye. Boom. End the story. We didn't talk about podcasts. We didn't talk about comedy dates. We didn't talk about UFC.
Right.
We were like two fucking jerk-offs talking the qualities of comedy, what he's doing, how he did some kid's show and he had 2 bits and he went home and he wrote them out and he tried them last night and they were great. It's this strategy.
Yeah. And it's like, I look at it like the UFC a little bit.
It's a strategy. I've always looked at it ever since I got into the UFC.
Yeah.
Like the UFC.
Yeah. Like, for example, I look at the Comedy Store, maybe we'll call the Comedy Store jiu-jitsu, right? And an all-black room as, striking. You know what I mean? You spend too much time with your jiu-jitsu, you go up against a striker audience, you're messed up. You know what I mean? You could be Ronda Rousey at the Comedy Store, but you face a striker like Holly Holm on the road. You're not used to the venue. You're not used to the air. Toilets flushing the other direction in Australia. Shit's a little bit off. She got taken out. A woman who they considered unstoppable, greatest athlete in the world, cover of the video game. There was all that entire fight. Every commercial, they're going to the new UFC, the video game. It's Ronda on the cover, getting knocked
the fuck
out. Like with that neck kick or the picture, you've seen it, just that fucking moment. And you got to be able to do it all. I do an all-black movie theater in Hollywood and Highland once a month. Nobody else. I go to the Comedy Store afterwards. People can't even relate. I can't even tell them about it. They don't even understand. All-black movie theater, all-black audience. Last month, I got heckled by A$AP Rocky, a rapper who's on my playlist. He's fucking cool as fuck. I didn't even realize it was him. He stands up during this Michael Jackson bit I'm doing. He goes, stop, 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 starts waving his arms. A whole movie theater knows that it's A$AP Rocky. I don't know, because I came in halfway through the show from another gig, and I go, sit down, you broke ass, dude, look at your cheap ass tinfoil grill. That's not even a real grill, and you're complaining, I'm not allowed to make fun of Michael Jackson. Crowds dying. I mean dying. There's towels when you do an all black room. Towels come out of nowhere. These white towels are waving around, people getting up out of their seats. That's why it's the most fun shit to do. I don't know if it sounds racist or not, but black people are the best audience members. Hollywood and Highland. It's in a movie theater. It's in the Chinese theater.
Oh yeah,
they take one of the
comedy.
They have one of the theaters. They just built a stage in front of it, and they have their logo up on the movie theater screen, and they fill it up once a month. Russell Simmons is always there. I do it once a month. Russell's right in the middle, flanked by beautiful women, 4 beautiful women on each side. He's on the VIP couch in the middle of this movie theater. But this guy's like in row 3 or 4. He's standing up, big tinfoil girl. It's A$AP Rocky. I go to the Comedy Store for my next spot after that. I get a text from my manager going, are you in a battle right now with A$AP Rocky? All of a sudden, I start rewinding, and it hits me. I listen to this guy every day on my playlist. He's got 1 or 2 songs on my get pumped up while in the shower. I got fucking Bluetooth. You have a big Bluetooth in your shower yet, Joey?
No,
oh
no.
my god,
It's great.
This is gonna be the thing that puts your life into overload when you're fucking singing in the shower with they have these Bluetooth.
The one that you put the iPhone. That one?
It
You don't
sticks
even
right
need-
on your wall, and then you know how your car gets your phone? It's the same thing. I just got it. It's great.
You keep the phone right there on the shelf out next to the shower, next to your towel or whatever. Hit your playlist, and then it's right there with you. It's just hugging you in the shower. Just the warm water and the music. And A$AP Rocky there every day. And that's the type of stuff. If I wanted to just be on the Tonight Show or do something else, I'd have different places I'd go, this and that. But you're right, it's strategy. You got to work every muscle. You got to be a striker. You got to know jiu-jitsu. You got to know wrestling. You got to know, a little bit of judo. You got to know a little bit of kickboxing. If you don't, an audience on the right night will take you the fuck out in front of an audience. They'll take you out. It's always there. There's always a chance that it's that wrong crowd. I did a Tonight Show showcase last night. Had a bad set for the first time in months because I had to re-strategize everything, change wording, just some showcase, the Tonight Show showcase, which I probably have no business being on. I shouldn't even want to do it, but I still sort of do.
No,
based on
you
principle.
have to do everything.
Right, totally.
You have to do everything because you don't know who's going to bite.
And it's an industry audience, and I'm doing old stuff, and it just wasn't clicking. And then I go down to Sam Tripoli's Naughty show, and I basically go straight up. I go, Sam, if you have any room, I really need a spot right now because I needed to recover. I needed an audience. I needed to beat somebody up in this UFC analogy. And I went in and fucking ripped it. I mean, there wasn't a period where somebody wasn't clapping their
How was
hands.
Sam's room?
It was great last
Was it
night.
packed?
It was
he
great.
packed them in?
Yeah.
It was the main room, right?
Yeah. It was
No,
great.
When I first got here at the 8.5-year mark, I didn't have a strategy. I had goals, and I knew I had to go up a certain amount a week, and I knew that I wanted to write a certain amount of material in a certain amount of time. But I wasn't doing a third of the work I'm doing
And
now.
I think it goes for every job, by the way. I think if you're a janitor, you need to have strategy. You're thinking ahead. What's the next room? What's the next this? What else can I do? How do I dress? How do I make my appearance better? How do I, not smell bad? It's like every little thing. You know what I mean? Like, how can you up your game in anything, in any aspect? You're an accountant, then why not take a class on psychology, and why not figure out how to communicate better or get a better phone system or something like that. You have to up your game all the time. I don't think it even just applies for stand-up. It applies for life. is taking chances, going outside of your comfort zone is what I'm saying. You know what I mean?
Always.
Like,
That's the number one thing that you will not grow as a human being, emotionally, all those areas, if you don't step outside, just sweat it a little bit and go, wow, this is the other side. Okay, this is where I didn't want to be, or this is where I do want to be.
And to go back to it, since we've been talking about it, for example, like when Adam took over a couple years ago, I started freaking out immediately. And via text, I'd go, dude, I'm following people that I haven't followed in years. You know, I don't understand what's happening here. I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this. I'm the writer for this. That's the most watched thing on Comedy Central. You know, it's like, come on, what are we doing here? And every single, up until a couple weeks ago, and now it's gotten to the point to where it lasts one message, and I go, dude, no spots all weekend. And he just sends back a smiley face. Sorry, dude, got you next week. You know what I mean? Like, and that, by the way, up until 2 weeks ago, the last time before that was 6 months, literally 6 months, in which I even texted or emailed or anything. You know what I mean? But it went from like me panicking and that comfort zone thing where it's like, so I'll be in town one weekend now. I'm so busy now that I'm in town one weekend a month now, and I'll put in my avails for that weekend. I don't get a weekend spot. It used to be I'd freak out and go, dude, what are you doing? I was built here. I live for this place. What are you doing with me? How do I not get one weekend spot the one weekend I'm in town? And now I will sweat it, and I'll go, no weekend, huh? Well, I'm going to write a fucking joke that will make it so that I will never not get a weekend again, to where even the comedians would want to go, where's Tony Hinchcliffe? We need him here because he's got that joke. You know what I mean? It gets my wheels turning. I use it for the fire. That's what getting out of the comfort zone is. I could message him and be a baby and get a spot, but you know, it's just like working. It's like just trying to grow, sweating it.
No,
you know?
you can't be messaging the guy when you don't get spots. You
Exactly.
have to just move on,
Right.
and attack a different room, or take the day off, or not. You know, it's become a place where there's a lot of people down there. There's a lot of fucking people down there.
Yeah.
And even I look at the lineups now. I call them for 3 times a week, and I'm very happy with that. If I get 3 spots, 2. If I get 2 at the Comedy Store, I'll get my other 4 somewhere else.
Yeah.
You know, we could figure it out. I never want them to think even when Mitzi was there, I never wanted them to think that they were my only game in town.
Right.
I used to do 2 or 3 spots before I got there, and I didn't have a problem with canceling. Like if I had to go take out a road gig or something, my goal was to be there, but not really. Do you know what I'm saying? Like it was my cherry on the sundae.
Totally.
I always worked everything else, and the Comedy Store was always my, if I get something, I get something. And there was times I'd go, Jesus fucking Christ, is she going to stop giving me spots? Mm-hmm. When is this going to fucking end? Because in the old days, she'd give you Monday for Monday. Then she'd give you Tuesday for Tuesday.
What do you mean?
Oh, yeah. All right, so in the old days at the store, you called Scott Day Monday at 1 o'clock, all hot and bothered. And if you know Joe Diaz, I called it 9:03, okay? 9:03, I already had my avails in for the week. Mitzi would give you Monday around 5 o'clock. Mm-hmm. That bitch would give you spots at 5. You'd be sitting there going, I don't know what I could do tonight because I haven't gotten a spot from the store. About 6:15, they call you. Joey, 12:45. Tuesday, you wouldn't get a call for Tuesday till 6. But by that time, I would have booked the Union, which was the old, across from, Jesus Christ, there's nothing there anymore. Where the chick walks across the street and dances.
Right at
the Pink Taco?
Yeah,
across
Pink
from
Taco,
there?
National Lampoons.
Yeah, next to National Lampoons, not the bar that goes down, even more up, by the taco place. Mm-hmm. Up the Pinche's Tacos?
Yeah, by the newsstand.
2 doors, no, up more.
Oh, okay.
Pinche's Tacos, walk that way.
Oh, yeah.
That next street, there was a great room there on Tuesday. So if you got, so she would call
Dublin's.
Before Dublin's.
Oh, wow.
It was even up more from the Dublin.
Wow.
So it's in between the Dublin on the corner, the Union, downstairs. That was the hottest room ever. That was where I saw Joe Rogan have the set of his life. Never has he had a set like that before. 45 minutes, Paulie, Nick. It used to, on Tuesday, because a lot of girls would go down there. Because what's his name would go down there? The guy from Swingers. He hung out down there.
John Favreau.
The other guy.
Vince Vaughn.
He hung out down there. So his girlfriend and Ahmed opened that room together. And then the girl and him broke up. He stopped going down there, but girls kept going down there to see him. So the place became this comedy thing. So you would call there. Tuesday, she'd give you the spot about 5:36. Nobody wanted the spot on Tuesdays because that's when it was the real Fat Tuesday. 400 black motherfuckers. John Singleton, Denzel Washington, Chris fucking...
Rock.
The other one.
Tucker.
And the fucking front of the comedy store would be packed with gang people. The side, it would just be black people everywhere, so the white comics got intimidated. So if you called for a spot on Tuesday, you go, and there was always no more than 8 white people in the original room. So you went to put up with limo parking. Sometimes comics got there. You couldn't even park in the lot because there were so many limos back there. So Tuesday you hated. She'd give you Wednesday for Wednesday, and then she'd give you Thursday for the rest of the week. She didn't give you fucking, no, never.
So if you called out on a Tuesday where you worried she wasn't going to give you the weekend?
In those days, the rule was to call coast to coast. That's what it was called. Monday to Sunday.
Yeah. All week.
She wouldn't call you to your weekend spots till Thursday. Sometimes Friday. People were pissed. But that was Mitzi Shore. She was in charge to piss you the fuck off.
Did you ever have like a bad Wednesday night spot and then not get a weekend set?
Fuck yeah. No. Fuck yeah. But if she saw you on Sunday and Monday and she gave you an instruction, and the next time she saw you, you didn't do that instruction. You were non grata passata for a couple of weeks until she saw you again. And what she told you to do, you did. Seeing Mitzi in those days was a catch-22. She might come up to me and go, next time I see you, I want you to have a beard up there like Fidel and wear the green suit.
Oh, my God.
Oh, no.
She wanted you to look like Robert William Ebervaya.
No, yeah. And then
she gave Ebervaya that note.
And then I came back the following week, and she wouldn't say nothing about it. She'd say, I'd like for you to do my Latino night in Spanish with a tuxedo on. Get yourself a blonde, and we'll call it the Joey and Lucy show. Oh, Mitzi at the end
Oh my God.
had some fucking winners. Then she would come up to me. I would be standing there, and she'd come up to me, and she'd look at me for about a minute, and I go, what's up, Mitz? And she'd look at my stomach, and she'd go, and she'd walk away. That was the last year. That's all she did to me. It's my fat baby. And she'd press my stomach and go, and walk away. But the only time I complained, I told her the truth about the main room one time. What a mistake that was. When I first got there, I saw her, she gave me, they give you the original room, and the first Saturday, you're in the main room. That was when Saturdays were 300 plus.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so I did the main room. She knew. She knew everything, so you might as well tell her. Mitzi Shore would say shit to you that you go, how'd you know that? And there was a rumor going around that she had the whole place wired for conversations and shit. But it was weird. So I saw that Tuesday, and I ran up to her, and I go, Mitz, don't put me in the main room no more. I'm not ready. Why not? Because I'm not ready. Well, we'll see this Friday night. And she'd put you in the main room and then come there and watch you. And I'd bomb again, and she'd say something to me, and then she knew if she saw something, she would fuck with you. I saw people who got made and disappeared from the comedy store. Disappeared. Never heard of them again. But if she saw something, she would work you a certain way. 3 nights a week, she'd make you follow this guy. 2 nights a week, and don't tell her that you didn't like Tony Hinchcliffe. Me and Tony Hinchcliffe had a fucking motherfucking argument at the kitchen. Okay. For a month, I'd have to follow Tony Hinchcliffe. Oh, yeah. Or Tony Hinchcliffe would follow me.
That's another thing Tommy did. I once made the mistake of dating a comedian. He made sure.
That's it. To overcome your objection.
Oh, yeah. You get into an argument with somebody, it's on.
It's on. That's what she did to teach you.
Yep.
It was a way of teaching you.
And it works, too.
And it works. When you go to Ivana Chubbuck, the acting school, One of the first things Savannah Chubbuck does with broads is make them get naked. That cracks a woman. Cracks a woman. That takes you from point A to point B. But the women that didn't crack, Holly Berry, the tall blonde that won the Academy Award, and she had 3 Academy Award winners because she cracked a woman in quick class. Mm-hmm. You know, that's the thing with stand-up comedy. It could crack you psychologically, especially at the fucking comedy store.
Oh, yeah.
You could crack psychologically, dog.
What do you mean crack?
You can think that all of a sudden that you're like it can get so bad sometimes that after a show that you're literally like, oh my God, I'm no different than anyone in that audience. I got nothing. I'm not, everything I've gotten to this point was just luck. I'm not funny. You can have a set that throws you off and makes you question everything. It doesn't last that long. You know, you might come out of it half an hour later, 10 minutes later, 10 seconds later. But sometimes there's an audience, like even last night with this Tonight Show 5-minute showcase that I had before going down and slaughtering in the main room. And this showcase, and I never got my footing, never got one of those big pops that every other set lately, because I'm working on this new stuff, and none of it's usable for a Tonight Show showcase. So I had to go back and take an old joke and just dust it off, and I'm funnier than this old joke now. This joke I wrote 1.5, 2 years ago that's in my special that I was doing for the Tonight Show because it's the only clean 5 minutes that I have. It's not as funny as I am. I've gotten so much better, in my opinion, in 1.5 years that I can't even sell that junk anymore.
You ever write a joke that you're not ready for?
Oh, yeah.
Is that the worst?
Oh, yeah.
What's the joke? Tell me the joke that you were not ready for that you think is God's gift to creation, and I'll tell you mine.
The joke that I wrote that I was too good to not have, that I wasn't good enough to have at the time was I would always drive by Santa Monica Boulevard in West Hollywood, and I kept seeing this out of the closet place over and over and over and over again. And I thought to myself, man, if I could think of something funny about a HIV place that gives away, that's a thrift store that gives away a free HIV test. I could share that with that would work on tourists, obviously, who are visiting. I go, there's a place down the street called Out of the Closet, and it would work on anybody who lives here because they drive by it every day. And it hit me. I go, it's a thrift store that gives away a free AIDS test. There's always people in it, and I don't get it. Because, if you're getting your AIDS test at a thrift store, let's face the facts, shall we? You've got AIDS. And it would just bust, you know what I mean? Because back then when I wrote that, I was still an employee. So I'm up like with open mic, and then there's an open mic with 15 people doing 3-minute spots, and then every employee there does 3 minutes. And you got to stand out in that 3 minutes because people know that there's just another guy coming. They've already seen 40 people. And that joke and the tag after where I go, how did they break the news to you? That must suck to work it Out of the Closet. You're working at a thrift store and you have to tell somebody they got AIDS. Like, what a shitty job, right? How does that even go down? Oh, your total's $25. Would you like to spend another $1 for AIDS research? I highly recommend you do, because you got it. You know what I mean? Like all this stuff. And this was like 4 or 5 years ago. And, it would get these huge pops. And it wasn't, I couldn't follow it, so I had to close with it.
Oh, it's terrible. It's
right.
terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Every other joke after that would get silenced. They'd be thinking to themselves, what happened to the guy that just did that funny Out of the Closet joke?
There's jokes that you can't follow yourself.
Yeah.
Like you're done. That's it. And I had those early on where I couldn't follow myself.
Can you follow most of your your closing bit if you're doing an hour? Could you follow it?
No, because you want it to close.
Okay, so what's the difference? So what makes like a bit you can't what makes these kind of bits different from just a normal closing bit?
Which ones? No, we're talking about saying a joke that you wrote that you weren't ready for at the time.
Okay.
So that's like when the president of Israel got shot in 1995. What was his name?
But Benjamin Netanyahu.
Benjamin Netanyahu.
Netanyahu.
I said today the prime minister of Israel got shot. Hey, $40 is $40, and I loved that joke. In my mind it was like he got shot for $40 He's a Jew, right? They'll shoot you for $40,
right? And
then I used to have like these stupid things that I would say, and I'd crack up, and 2 people come up to me and go, "Dog, I love that joke, but they're not on the page." Was, what does a priest give up for Lent? Dick. Like, he ain't giving up dick. Like, that's what I would say, I asked my local priest what he was giving up for Lent. and he told me he ain't giving up dick. And, there's just things that you say sometimes that, I don't know.
I once wrote a joke that nobody, including myself, was ready for because I found out that Patrick Swayze got pancreatic cancer, and I know just from being a what's it called when you always think you're sick? Hypochondriac. Since I was first born, like I would ask my doctor fucking everything. I think I got something. Anyway, so I know the pancreatic cancer kills you within 2 months. That's the one cancer where it's like you could have brain cancer and pull off some crazy shit, but there's something about the pancreas where it's like goodbye. You know what I mean? But I knew that, so I saw Patrick Swayze had pancreatic cancer, and I swear to God, and it's the first joke I ever sold. It was like 5-6 years ago, whenever Swayze died. But a month before he died, I started writing the Patrick Swayze is dead joke. Like, oh, Patrick Swayze just died, so... But I was doing it on stage. I mean, not only did I write it, I was working it out night after night to where a month in, I had a 3-4 minute chunk on Patrick Swayze. You know what I mean? So the night that he died, literally, I remember, I think I could swear it was a Monday, but in any matter, that the Sunday, Monday back then was when I had spots. So I go, Patrick Swayze just died. I can't even really remember the gist of it. It was so long ago, but basically it's like Patrick Swayze just died. Good news is they just started taping Ghost 2. This time it's for real. You know what I mean? And it was just like this dumb thing. And I talk about how pancreatic cancer starts with your career. And anyway, but I had this chunk when it came out, and it was like isolation. I mean, the night was gone after that because people are like, how did that one guy be able to cover something that happened today like that? Because it was. I chiseled, and you changed punchlines, and you rearrange words over a month with a joke. You know what I mean? Like, I get it to where I know that it will beat for beat, like, get them. So it's like nobody was ready for that. And I ended up, for a while there, making a lot of... I like to honor people when they die with a joke. A lot of people don't like the too soon things. That's one of my favorite... only things that I even use Twitter for, other than plugging shows, is like when somebody dies, I like to think of like, blah, blah, blah is dead, blah, blah, blah. And it's like to pay tribute. You know what I mean? Like David Bowie died, and I got so excited because I got to write, ashes to ashes, dust to stardust. You know what I mean? Little things. And it's like R.I.P. David Bowie, or like, some things are taken from us too soon. Like when Vanilla Ice stole David Bowie's bass line for Under Pressure. You know what I mean? Like, and I write these things, and I think it's a way for people to like cope and deal with it. I went off on a rant there. Sorry, Joey.
These fucking people in this PC society, if you say something about somebody dying, everything's always too soon. I'm the type of guy, I'll make a fucking joke at somebody's parents' wedding, like somebody's parents' fucking wake. And they'll laugh. If you're anybody, you'll laugh.
Yeah.
When my friend's dad died, he had millions. And he called me, it's horrible. And I go, what's the story with the will? And he giggled. He goes, only you would ask that cocksucker. He goes, but at least you made me laugh. You follow me? You always got to break that leg. Because I know when my mom died, I was praying for somebody to say something. I had to think of all these fucking jokes in my head. Mm-hmm. I got left back in the 6th grade. Never told nobody. Mm-hmm. Never told my mom. But I always had a feeling I would never have to fucking tell her. Mm-hmm. Like I was going to pull this over her eyes. And I swear to God, till this day, when she fucking died, and I came around that kitchen and found her, she was dead. And inside, I have no reason to lie. Inside of me, I said, I always knew this bitch wasn't going to find her. I gotta look back. I mean, I'm one of those fucking people that always makes a joke to myself because that was the only thing that could break that at that moment. Right. I would have had a nervous fucking breakdown.
Yeah.
So sometimes you just got to crack a joke to yourself.
That's exactly my favorite thing. And it makes it so worthwhile when I do tweet these, like this person just died joke. And people literally say, you can read the mentions. They go, I never thought, I can't believe I'm laughing at a joke about this.
Oh my God, I love all that shit. I love it. One of the best jokes I ever heard was Bobby Slayton called me for Christmas. And I didn't answer. I was doing something. And he goes, hey man, if I don't get a hold of you, I'm sure you're in some broke-down tenement with your Cuban family cutting a chicken or some shit. That's a joke that somebody would have got insulted at, but it's the truth.
Yeah.
There's some things that are fuck. I have conversations with Lee, and I know I say shit to him that his little jaw drops. Mm-hmm. He's never heard that mind frame.
Yeah.
But that mind frame exists in America. Just nobody wants to say it.
Right.
Nobody really
they
wants
all
to say
know
it.
They all know it. They all
And
laugh
I'll-
at their handicapped
and I'll
cousin at the
say it,
Thanksgiving
yes.
table when he walks away or wobbles away or whatever. It's like they all have their things that they all crack up about, and they all think, but though that they'll seem like a good person if in their public persona they show something else, but they're not fooling anybody. I know they go and they read. They have something that gets them off.
I assume. This is what I've always assumed. That you could be the nicest person in the world, but when you get home, you're like, who parked in front of me? That fucking nigga down the corner? Or that fucking chink down the corner? Or that spick down the corner?
Right.
Because I know when I get home and I go, hey, Tony, who parked there? That fucking little Jew again parked in front of our fucking house? That cocksucker. I wish they would have got him in fucking Auschwitz. You say this shit.
Right.
You don't mean it.
Right.
But people, I've always assumed that. That's the way that's why when people look at me when I say certain things, I'm more of a shock from the reaction they give me, because in my mind, I assume they think the fucking same thing. Mm-hmm. I was with Tom Segura one day, and we were in an airport, and I saw a big black dude with a little Japanese chick. Come on. Come on, dog. If you're not thinking to yourself, he's fucking... What did Japs do? Did we bomb Hawaii? What island did we bomb?
Pearl Harbor.
That's what that little Jap's pussy must look like, with that big black pogo stick of an arm going into her snatch.
Just smoke coming
wants
out of
that?
it.
Yeah.
Just alarms going off
Look,
down
when
there.
that Japanese girl shows home with fucking Kunta Kinte's uncle, well, that's going to set back Japanese relations 8,000 years. You can't say this, but everybody, in my mind, everybody thinks this shit.
Oh, yeah.
You just think different fucking things. And I told Tom's like, I've never heard anything put like that before. Tom, this is the way I look at it. I see a 5'2" Japanese chick with a fucking 6'6" black guy. Her pussy's fucked. That's it. Once she gives birth to that little fucking half Japanese black kid, that pussy's done. If you can't, but this is what I'm thinking in my fucking mind as I'm walking down the street. This is how I'm adding humor to my... That's why I hate hanging out with people. Because the inner voice I have in my fucking thing is the funniest thing I've ever heard in my life. Mm-hmm. He says shit with no consequences, and he has one audience member, me.
I think the reason why it freaks everyone out is because from the time you were young, if you said something like that, you got yelled at, you got in trouble at school, and I'm not sure that you had that. At least that part of it.
I had people who said that in my house. My mom said shit like that in the house.
Yep. That's where mine comes from.
My mom said shit like that in the house. But then again, I saw her taking cookies across the street to the same black people she just talked about. Mm-hmm. Or the same Italian people she talked about. Because it was something that you say. That's why I've always enjoyed the movie Do the Right Thing. To me, it was Spike Lee's favorite movie because it showed a neighborhood that was divided, but at the same time they were together. Where you going? I'm going down to the Koreans to get a liquor store. He walks in. Where's the beer at, you fucking yellow motherfucker? But at the same time, they love each other. So at the end of the day, it washes out. That's the way it is in my mind. At the end of the day, it washes out. You don't think I know that Ari comes up to you and say, you on Joey's podcast today? Yeah, what that fat motherfucker have to say? I don't give a fuck. That's the way people talk, and that's fine. I'm going to say the same fucking thing. You talk to Ari?
Yeah.
Yeah, what that Jew have to say? Does that mean I'm racist? Does that mean I hate Ari? Yeah. No, that's how we fucking talk.
Right.
But in some people's world, that's racism or that's, racially insensitive. What the fuck are you talking about? What the fuck? You might as well tell me your sensitivity to light. You're half a fruitcake. You're weak. What are you going to do with yourself? What the fuck?
I saw this. They have a school in Calabasas now that's all vegan, and they have They were showing this thing on the news last night about kids growing, and I couldn't just imagine seeing you watch it and just seeing, because that's like, I didn't grow up in Calabasas, but that's where I grew up in like white America. So that's, if my mom ever said, like, look at that black, like, that would have been, I would remember that one moment for the rest of my life.
Look at that dude in Maine. That was the
governor.
funniest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Wait, what happened?
And he's not lying. He wants these people impregnating white chicks. Then they go back to their fucking village, and they leave these fucking mixed animals up here in Maine, which it's not going to work.
Yeah.
It's not going to work in fucking Maine. It's not going to work.
Yeah.
It's not going to fucking work. You're not doing no white kid favors by making a half-mixed kid with fucking black, oh, he's got nice hair. No, but deep down, they know what happened. They know.
Sometimes, and you know what? I think that's a lot of the reason why Trump's doing so well is because he's saying stuff that, at least people are going, well, he's a human being. You know what I mean? As crazy as it sounds, like he goes, let's get rid of all the no Muslims and let's build a wall. Mexico will build it, and he's saying all this stuff, and it's like, well, at least he sounds more like a crazy uncle than nobody. These politicians that say, he said the other day when there was the terrorist attack in Germany the other day, I walked by the TV in a hotel. I was in Boston. I walked by the TV. It says Donald Trump says that Germany terrorist attack happened because they let in these refugees, and it's like they make it look like that's a negative. And I think to myself, yeah, well, they did let in all these Syrians, right? I mean, I don't know much about the thing, but they wanted to look good. So they brought in hundreds of thousands of these people that are used to totally different stuff. And and they're making Trump look bad because he said...
Oh, they grabbed a bunch of women's titties, that New Year's Eve attack, where they were finger banging fucking women and just grabbing their tits.
Oh,
Did you
yeah,
hear about
I think
that
so.
shit?
Yeah.
Because they didn't know they were Syrian rebel or whatever the fuck it was. Yeah. But look what happened last week in Tacoma. The guy's not talking shit.
Yeah.
The guy is making sense. And when he said it the same way I would say something. It's not that it's not thought out. It's that he didn't use the proper words to describe it. I don't want these Muslims in here until we figure out a way to figure out their fucking origin.
Yep.
I could live with that. Until we figure out their origin. Put them in a fucking... When the Cubans came in 80, they had them in a thing called Freedom Town. Or nobody fucking remembers here. When you watch Scarface, nobody remembers the scene when they're under the fucking highway?
Oh, yeah, I remember.
In tents? Nobody fucking remembers that?
Yeah, all fenced
Nobody
in.
fucking remembers that? Take these fucking Muslims and take them to Guantanamo. And put them on Guantanamo for fucking 6 months and observe them. And that's how you'll fucking see. If Trump were to say that, I could live with that. Mm-hmm. Not flabbergast them and put water bottles in their asshole or whatever they do. I'm not saying they're fucking terrorists. I'm not saying they're bad people. But let's interview all of them. Let's see and then it's the same thing. They get their story straight. But you're going to decipher the amount. If there was 12 in every 100, you might cut it down to 3 in every 100. And then you follow me? So I understand what Trump is saying. Listen, man, every morning, and I'm not saying nothing derogatory. Every morning somebody fucking wakes up in America to a lawnmower and looks out the window and says, look at this fucking Mexican. I can't sleep late because, no, he's doing his fucking job. You know why? Obviously, you ain't doing fucking yours. So we have this belief in this country right now that immigrants are taking our jobs. Mm-hmm. And I believe that to 30%, that eventually the numbers. But the other 50% of that, 30% of that, is people who don't really want a fucking job. Because I was raised as an American. And you know what an American does? What you do when you don't get spots. Mm-hmm. You don't cry. You don't go down there and shoot the guy. You write a joke.
Yeah.
So they'll always give you spots.
Yeah.
And I feel the same way. If you're an American and you want that job in construction, go down there and outwork that Mexican. But you can't. You know why you can't? Because you got your cell phone. Because you got your plans. Because God forbid you can't go to Tony's 32nd birthday. Who gives a fuck about Tony's 32nd fucking birthday?
Right.
I got to make a fucking living. But we've forgotten that in this country because we have all these fucking distractions. I have to do this. I have to do that. You ever you ever go to Target over here in 90-degree weather?
Yeah.
And you see a Mexican woman who's pregnant with a kid in a basket and another one pushing them across the fucking street. Meanwhile, your cunt wife is in a fucking $30,000 vehicle because she might get too hot. You understand me? I do the same shit all the time. I feel like pulling her over and hitting my fucking wife with the car and saying, look at her. You know, all these moms that have nannies, all these moms that have people take their kids swimming for them. Then you figure out what Trump is fucking saying.
At least Trump, and I don't agree with 90% of what he says. But at least he has an opinion. It's almost like when the Patriots come and do an interview. Oh, we're focused on this thing. Most politicians, when you hear them do interviews, it's not like an actual thought. They went over and practiced. What if they ask you about this? What if they ask you about that? And at least Trump has an opinion. I mean, I'm not going to vote for him, and I think a lot of what he says.
Well, who are you going to vote for? Who the fuck are you going to vote for? That dustball Hillary Clinton?
You can't say Bernie Sanders.
The other guy,
either.
Bernie Sanders, that's 80.
He's not going to.
Ted fucking Cruz, that sneak.
No way.
Rubio, the guy, the anti-Cuban.
The worst.
Who are you going to vote for?
Honestly,
who the fuck are you going to vote for?
I'm not huge into voting because of The main reason is because the popular vote doesn't matter with the Electoral College. But I'm not going to vote, even if I did like voting, just because I don't like anyone else. I'm not going to vote for Trump. That's just, I'd rather not vote for anybody.
But if you look at everybody.
Bernie Sanders is really big right now in like the early 20s, liberal. He's like the new Jesus. I like a lot of what he's saying.
And those early 20 kids, they could all suck my dick. They
Right.
don't know nothing about nothing. They know a fucking computer. They know nothing about nothing. Nothing about nothing. They think Saturday Night Live is funny, and they think Ubering is fucking funny, and they just do what everybody else fucking does. That's what the fucking ultra 29-year. I wipe my ass with that fucking vote because that vote's going to take our country deeper. Those were the same jerk-offs that voted Obama in. Same jerk-offs with that bullshit about change and just to show people that they're not fucking nigger haters. Let me vote for Obama. This will show my white friends I'm not a nigger hater. And I'm not a nigger hater. I hate to say that fucking word. I'm just saying it because that's the bottom line. That was the whole thing of fucking his vote. The inner sanctum of his vote was getting these weak white people to go, I'm not prejudiced. Yes, you are. I'm not saying you're prejudiced. But you say nigger from time to time. You say, look at those black suspicious men on the corner with beady eyes. That means you're fucking racially observant. Let's just say that. You're racially observant. If you see 3 Mexicans acting funny on the corner, you will dial 911. That means you're racially observant.
It got me the other day, dude. I'm from an all-black neighborhood, so I'm cool with everybody. But the other day, I'm walking back to my apartment from the grocery store. I live right across the street from the grocery store. Got a couple bags. Out of the little parking lot area of my complex, I see a black guy wearing a black hoodie. I just took note of it, right? Just took mental note.
Go. It's a mental it's a racial observation.
I took mental notes, so then the next day, I wake up to a group text for the first time ever, and it's all my neighbors in the apartment. I don't even have them saved, so it's all these 7 unlisted numbers, right? And one of the ladies goes, "Hey, it's Casey or whatever. Someone broke into my car last night. If anybody knows anything, let me know." And I literally go, holy shit, I know this. I go, so I respond in the group text message, even though I don't want to. I go, there was a black man in a black hoodie that I saw walk out of that area that I've never seen before at 10:30. He got into a car with a chubby white chick, silver car with a chubby white chick. That's exactly what I said because that's exactly what I saw. Because I thought it was suspicious because of the black guy in the black hoodie and how they're shoving it all down our throats. And next message in that big group text that all the neighbors are seeing is, oh, that's Tom. That's our newest neighbor. He's in this group message. I'm like, you got to be fucking kidding me. Like, all of it, what a terrible first impression. And it's because, but you have to be observant. If it was a white guy in a black hoodie that I've never seen before walking out of that area, getting into a silver car with a chubby white chick, I would have said the exact same thing. The only difference, word-wise, would have been white and black. But, but we live in this age where it's like, ooh, you can't say that he was black. What are you? It's like, no, he was black. The guy that was suspicious to me because I hadn't seen him before was black. If it was a white guy looking all methy, it would have been white.
I would have been suspicious also.
Yeah.
I would have been suspicious. It's weird how, because I'm a criminal, I see body language. I judge people by body language. Mm-hmm. So I know when somebody's up to something by their body language. I could see because I know the body language. I had the body language. So even if I see a black guy with a hoodie, which I'm supposed to react to, I'm not reacting to him. I'm reacting to his body fucking language. Yeah. And I'm 8 out of 10. I'm really good. I could see a drug deal go down. I could see a lot of things a lot of people don't see because I was part of that. I could tell when somebody's waiting for a package. I just noticed that a couple of weeks ago by the Bank of America on Lancashire.
Oh, that they hang out there?
I had to sit there the other day because there was a lot of people online and the phone rang. And I started getting into a conversation. What am I going to do? Go stand on line with the people? Let me just give it a minute. Let me talk to this guy in the car. And while I was standing there, I saw a guy pull up and wait, stand on line, go to the ATM, and he didn't go right back to his car. He just stood there. He crossed the street. He finagled a little bit. He walked up to the car a little bit, but it really wasn't going for his car. And I sat there, and the conversation ended, and I just wanted to test my instincts. Either his girlfriend dropped him off and went to got cigarettes or reefer and is going to pick him back up, or he's waiting for a drug deal. And sure enough, what happens next? Two little Mexican dudes pull up in a fucking like a smaller like a Acura.
Okay.
With the rims. You know, they could have been Filipinos or Mexicans. I'm not sure. They pulled in. The guy got out. Went in this truck. Make believe he was playing with a basketball. They made the exchange. The basketball never left the trunk. They closed the trunk. The guy walked, and then somebody picked him up. He made a call, and somebody picked him up. So my instincts was correct. From just seeing that guy walk from the ATM and stopping. Because I remember when I would just tell the guy, just meet me at the ATM. Why fuck around?
Yeah. So where does it cross the line from just noticing or just being observant to racism or to being prejudiced?
You hear it right here.
It's all in what. That's what's crazy is like it could be a white person. It doesn't. What makes it prejudice or racist? There is none. It's just being observant and like, for example, like the other day, I'm sitting in the back of the Comedy Store, just sitting there. I'm like next or something on like that on the lineup, so I'm sitting in one of the bucket seats for a second, and I notice this guy come in, white guy, black hoodie, with a white girl with a black hoodie, both of them hoods up. But I'm not even really watching that, just like what you're saying. And this comes from being born and raised in Youngstown when it was by far the most dangerous. I'm from the most dangerous intersection in what was the most dangerous city at the time. But there's bullet holes in my house that happened when I was growing up. Could have been there. But anyway, you learn a lot from all that. And I was watching the way that they walked and where their hands were in their hoodie pockets and how much stuff was in their pockets. That's always a good giveaway of how shady somebody is. The more stuff you have in your pockets, the shadier you are. Easy breezy. Now anyway, and I noticed these two, and I noticed the way they're walking, and I guess something's not right with these two. You know, something's off. Next thing you know, 45 minutes later, I'm walking down from the main room or something like that, from that back area, and I walk by. That girl had thrown up all over the middle of the hallway, where all the headshots are, the main hallway, where hundreds of people are supposed to be going through. She threw up everywhere, just everywhere. And it wasn't from alcohol, just alcohol, or else she wouldn't have been able to walk in 45 minutes earlier. But there was something about the walk and the vibe that made me think that this chick was on pills and mixing it with alcohol. And that's how you projectile vomit like that. You know what I mean? That's what it was. And sure enough, it was right there. Proof is in what looked like the pudding.
Okay. About 6 years ago, I moved to Studio City. I'm banned from the store. I'm not banned. I'm not going to the store at all. So I would go do all the Mexican rooms. I'd do the improvs. And at night on the way home, I'd stop at the Ha Ha. And I would sit outside the Ha Ha in Lancashire, and I noticed something. That for a fucking primarily white neighborhood, there was a lot of single black chicks and two teen black chicks that I'd see walking down Lancashire. But I would see them at 9, I would see them at 10. That's one thing. But to see black chicks walking down Lancashire at 11:30, that's another. And they would walk north on the left side or whatever that was, and they'd go to like Big Wings. Then they cross the street and walk all the way back to the intersection. It doesn't take a genius to tell you that they're fucking hookers. Now, did I make the decision that? Now, did I not introduce you to a white hooker at the Ha Ha?
Yeah, you didn't so much introduce me. You just like left me with a woman with bandages on her head, and I find out an hour and a half later that she's a hooker.
Okay.
Introduce you, left him with them.
And I talked to somebody.
Did you rip those bandages off? Lay it down, Lee?
This was right
She hit
when
him
we
up
met.
for like 50.
This is right when we met.
He wouldn't go for it.
And it freaked me out.
I wouldn't go for it.
You're wearing bandages. Let's do 20.
Let's do 20. Somebody beat you up already. You know what I'm saying? If I was going to beat you up, I'd go for the big 50, but somebody smacked the shit out of you.
We were just sitting there talking, and I thought she was just like a sad person who wanted to talk.
She came over, started sitting there talking. I didn't know. I go, you want to go in and watch we went in. Lee and her were hitting it off. I'm married. I go, Lee, go across the street and have a drink.
What kind of bandages? What is this, like half a mummy or something?
No, I think she maybe had something like one around her head, or I don't even remember, to be fucking honest. This was like 5 years ago.
This is when we first met, like the second or third weekend. Just to let him know we were fucking crazy. He calls me the next day, man, you're not going to believe it. That girl wanted $60 and shit. I'm like, did you give it to her? I don't know. Lee was petrified. He was still.
You left Lee with a hooker that had a whole bandage around her head.
Yeah.
I mean, a hooker is one thing. That's no problem. But
that's why I had no idea what she was talking about. She kept saying, I'm going to take you to a hotel and make you feel like the sexiest man. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Make me feel like the sexiest man.
And I'm like, okay. And
with a bandage on your fucking head? How am I going to feel sexy?
She started off by saying, like, let's go watch a movie. And I was like, at your house. And I didn't want to bring this woman with a bandage to my house. So I said, I don't live near here. She said, let's get a hotel. And I was broke. I didn't have money for a hotel. You sent us to Skinny's. The only time I've been to Skinny's. I had half a beer. And we started dancing. And then she's like, do we have a deal? I was like, what are you talking about, a deal? I'm brand new from Boston. And she's like, well, this isn't free or something. And I left. I had to go back the next day. I didn't sign my slip, my tab, my credit card slip. Because I booked. I've never experienced anything like that. And did you know? You probably knew.
You dined and ditched to get away from this bandage?
She scared the shit out of him, though.
By the way, the funniest line I've heard in months from any human being is, I couldn't bring this lady with a bandage back to my place.
You see that I live with? You see that I got to deal with? Hilarious. He was in there sweating bullets. His face was red. I'm back home.
So was her. She's having all wrapped up.
I'm back at home giggling my ass off because I know nothing good's going to come from this. I left him with a hooker with a bandage on her head. This is how you toughen him up. And he got out of it. Hold on, I got to go to the bathroom and think about it. He fucking booked home.
He went back the next day to the bar.
Oh, my God. He went back to Skinny's.
Did you explain yourself when you went there? Like, hey, man, my buddy left me with a hooker with a bandage. They're like, oh, with a bandage? Well, it's all good.
All I remember is I called. I was like, I don't think I signed my slip last night. I don't think I told him what happened. It's at Skinny's right on Lankershim. It was... And I should have, as we were walking, she grabbed my hand so fucking hard. She was in pain or something. I think she just got hit by a car. I don't know what. I don't know. And this isn't the only time this happens. He gets hit up by crazy ladies at the steak place. There's another chick at 7-Eleven. And you love it. And I think that might be what it is for you, Joey. Most people run away from crazy people like that. And it's like you invite them in for Thanksgiving dinner just because you know it's going to be funny.
Listen. Ever since I was a kid, you got to play the hand out.
Yeah.
I love to see where things are going in life. There's some people who approach me so dumb that I tell them, no, it's okay, man. Thank you, Albert. I already have something going on. Thank you very much for thinking of me. I'm very polite. But there's some people that... You give them a chance to tell you their story, and you sit there and go, this is not happening. Or whatever. I've told this story 1,000 times on here about the hooker from 7-Eleven. How hot is she, Lee?
She's pretty hot.
I mean, she's hot. She's a hot, black, African-American girl. Told me she was from Jersey. And, I met her at the Ha Ha, and then I saw her at 7-Eleven, so I thought she was legit. When you see somebody in a comedy club,
right,
you're like, how bad can they be? But the night I saw with like a weird girl. Mm-hmm. And I knew. And she said to me, can you do me a favor and give me a number? Because I really want to try this. And I really would want some help. Her approach to me was pretty simple. Mm-hmm. And I'm a guy, and I'm like, you know what? I give away my number 5 times to a young comic. Nobody's going to call me. They're going to call me one time and ask me for something stupid, and they won't call again. I didn't know if this girl really wanted help. I didn't know. I'd seen her at the Ha. All right, here's my number. You want to talk to me about something? Bro, then it started. And she would call, and I go, what do you want? Well, I want to see, if you want to come watch me dance. Whatever the fuck she was talking about. I didn't know what she was talking about. And finally I go, what are you talking about? And she's like, well, I'd like to get together with you. She asked me for like $200. And I'm like, 200? Okay, now what? I don't get it. Because that's how they come on first, with a loan. It's like if a girl comes up to you at the store tonight, you walk around the corner with it to, what's the sandwich place? Pink's?
Yeah.
And you smoke a joint, you go home. And all of a sudden she goes, I really want to do comedy. Can I have your number, Tony? You're like, what the fuck? You already told her you had a girlfriend, the whole thing. Yeah. And all of a sudden she calls you 2 days later and go, Tony, I need $400. Can you help me? And you're like, I don't know you, but what do you want the 400 for? And they hit you with something, and you're like, okay. And now I'm curious, because I'm curious how they're going to pay you back.
Right.
That's what you got to ask. So I'll give you the $400, but how am I going to pay you back? And she started with the you-knows. No, I don't know. I don't know. You telling me you're a DJ? I don't know. You're telling me you're a DJ, you can't make money, so how are you going to pay me back this for? Now, the whole time, guys, I can't hook up with this chick.
Right.
I would love to eat her ass and spank her.
This was recent.
This is a year ago, right, Lee? Not even.
Not even this year.
No, it was 2015.
Yeah.
It was 2015. So I see her again, and now one night she calls me like at 1 in the morning. I really need the money. I will fucking suck your dick. And now I'm like, okay, I'm curious. You know where the World Gym is on the corner there, Lancashire, right there? Yeah, I'll meet you there. And I left her there for like 4 hours. She's texting me, where are you? I'm out here. It's cold. People are approaching me. You know, I wanted to see where the hand played out. I had a funny feeling. I got a call 7 years ago. That was one. I'd known this girl for years around the comedy scene. For years. And one night on a Sunday night, I get a call from her. She's like, Uncle Joey, I need to talk to you. I booked this role, you know, but they don't let me pay for SAG. Hilarious.
Yeah.
Now I know the girl's a half a whore. Not because of my experiences with her, but I've heard rumblings, but I didn't know she wanted money for sex. This is completely different. And I got to tell you something. The girl was beautiful. Beautiful. And she calls me up and she goes, I need $2,500 to join SAG. And I'm like, let me ask you something. So you're doing a $600 role for 20? I go, SAG's got a financing program now. And she's telling me how SAG doesn't have it. And I'm like, I fucking just was down there for something else. And this, 10 years ago, there used to be a great hot dog stand in front of SAG. It was a hot blonde chick who sold Sabret hot dogs from Jersey. And she made the chili and she did everything. So I'd go to SAG every time I was down there. And I'd go inside and look at the board, and they had it, financing available. When I became SAG, there was no fucking financing available. But now there is. So I'm just interested. So I go, listen, let me ask you something. So how are you going to pay me this $2,500 back? She goes, I'll give you $6 from the check, which is not going to happen because you're only getting $3 after commissions and taxes. And I'm just playing along now. How are you going to pay me the money? And she starts with, well, maybe we could work something out. Well, what are you thinking? And she goes, well, maybe we could have sex. I swear to God, this is happening to me, Tony.
Wow.
My wife is in the other fucking room, and I'm sitting here going, I knew a guy who dated you for 3 years, who you almost married. I'm not saying this to her. I'm just saying this to my head. Now, between you and me and Lee, I had maybe $100 in the bank. There was no way I even had the money. I'm just playing the hand.
Right.
I'm just want to see how fucking crazy people get in this town. That she's offering a fat 40 fucking 2-year-old, 3-year-old guy. This had to be, this had to be 7 years ago. So I'm 45 years old. She's got to be 25. Just a body that don't fucking quit. And I finally go, listen, let me think about this. Call me back in an hour. I want you to think about these words. So what you're telling me is if I give you the money, I'm going to go in there and fuck you and suck. And she goes, well, I really don't like sucking dick. I go, for $2,500, you're going to have to suck some dick. I mean, you know me. I established the rule. There was nothing going to happen. I forget all about Ralphie Mays picking me up. So, bling, the phone rings. Joey, I'm downstairs. I go, oh, shit. I go downstairs. I get in the car. Ralphie was driving, and who calls me back? But she does. And she goes, so what are we going to do? Is this going to go down tonight? And I go, well, listen, man, you know I'm a fucking freak. I go, I want to fuck you and suck your ass, but I want to light your asshole on fire. And I can hear her go, can I call you back? I swear to God. She goes, can I call you back? And I go, hurry up. I'm gonna make reservations for the Four Seasons right now. But I'm gonna light your asshole on fire. And I swear to God, she went from being happy and peppy to going, can I call you back?
She got scared.
And about 10 minutes later, she goes, listen, I'm sorry. I'm not going to go through with it. I got my uncle who lent me the money. I fucking died.
Wow. She fucked her uncle for the money.
No, I don't know if she fucked her uncle. But it was hysterical that. And I felt bad. I really felt sad for her. I didn't because if I was a girl and I had a hot body, one-shot deal, $2,500, I'd fuck 10 guys. I'd fuck 15 fucking, you know. I don't know. I don't fucking know. I don't, whatever. But what are you going to do? You know, I like to play the hand out. I've always love to play the hand out, even if I'm not going to go through with it, just to see who cracks first.
Especially as comedians, where everything you say is like based on experiences or for the most part, it's stories or things that make you think of something. So it wouldn't make sense to shut yourself off from it.
Well, when you meet like that night, I would have played that hand out. Oh, I would have told her, let's go to suck my dick one time, and I go to the ATM machine. Something I would have fingered her. Something. After I would have took the bandage off and handcuffed her with it or hit her with it. I would have stolen her fucking antibiotic cream. Something. You follow me? I just wouldn't have left. But you haven't seen this movie yet. I would have fucking played with you for a little bit. We would have played with her a little bit. Tell her to meet us at a hotel room, go there without us. Stop and get Vaseline. We're going to light your asshole on fire. How much you want? 60? We'll give you 3,000. And just play with him a little bit.
Lee, did you talk? What did you talk to this lady about for an hour and a half?
It wasn't an hour and a half. I feel like it was like maybe half an hour. But then we were just talking. I don't even know. I think she was. What I think it was more of like I've always been a very quiet person, and I think she was just talking at us. Like Joey and I were talking about when we first started hanging out. We were just hanging out at the Ha Ha. We didn't do any work or anything. And I think she just came over and sat down and was talking like nonsense about what happened to her head or my night is so hard. Just like, you know how crazy people get. They just start talking at you.
Yeah.
And I had just moved here, and I don't think I'd fucked anybody in like at least 6 months. And I was probably just too like focused on that. God, that was crazy.
Yeah, bandages are like a funny thing.
Like looking back on it now, it's like, what the fuck was I thinking? Even getting like Joey said, get a drink, so I get a drink with a chick with a bandage on her head.
Yeah, I won't talk to people with bandages, even if it's one of my best pals. I mean, you're hanging out in public with a head bandage. I'm sorry,
dog. I was on the phone one time in a subway, on like fucking Harlem, and I had my back to the train, and a chick tapped me on the shoulder, and I was on the phone. I'm like, she's like, hello. Hello, and I'm on the phone with Josh Wolf, and I go, hold on one second. I just turned, and this chick was beautiful, but somebody had punched her right in the fucking eye. That even the middle was red, like it was like a white head with blood in it.
Oh.
That's what her eye looked like.
Yeah.
And I'm like, can I help you? And I'll never forget this. She goes, for $5 and a light, I'll suck your dick. And even the guy on the phone, Josh Wolf, heard it. And I go, did you hear that? And he goes, yes, I did. What is that? I go, let me call you back. And I go, what is wrong with you? And she goes, for $5 and a light, I'll suck your dick so fucking good. And I just started fucking with her. Like, I'm a comic. Like,
yeah.
So what happened to your eye?
Right.
Oh, I fell. So what do you want the $5 for? I need to eat something. She was white and cute, and she's talking like a black chick, like, I needs to eat something. And I'm like, okay, but what are you going to do? What's the lighter for? I go, you do drugs? Never. I mean, this went on for 40 minutes. I missed 3 or 4 trains. The fuck up was I didn't have a cell phone or a video. I would have said, I'm going to give you $5, another 20 at the end. Let me tape this conversation.
Yeah.
I would have had 1 million views on there. She went from, you don't know what the fuck you talking about. You going to let me suck your dick or not for $5? I'm like, I don't know. You got a black eye. Well, let me ask you a question. If a chick came up to you and wanted to suck your dick with a black eye, there's got to be some property value damage.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
damage to the eye.
Oh, yeah.
So let me make you an offer. How about $2 and a book of matches? And I just kept fucking with her. And she's like, fuck you, you fat motherfucker. You probably can't get it up anyway. And she kept fighting me back. And finally she walked 50 steps, and she came back, and she goes, $3. Like, she was my God. And this, you can't write this, but it wouldn't have happened if I didn't play the hand. If I was a regular schmuck and said, no, I'm not interested, go away. She would have ran away and said, fuck you. But I had to play the hand. That's how low she got herself. Like, she's like, okay, last deal. She's like, $3 and I'll suck your dick. And that's it. That's my bottom line. And I'm like, admit to me that you smoke crack. And she's like, fuck you. Okay, I smoke crack. I go, how many times a week? Just once. No! Tell me the truth. And she's like, okay, I've smoked it twice. Nobody gets a fucking black eye if they don't smoke fucking crack. And then she just broke that.
Yeah.
And I just peeled off like a 10. Let me tell you something. She took that 10. She didn't even go up for sunlight. She ran back into the train Like when they live in the train, she just
wow.
ran back in there. And I'm going to be honest with both people here and all podcast listeners. This girl was so hot. I would have fucked her. With the black guy, with 2 black guys, without the black guy. I know I'm scared of getting a half of HIV, so I wouldn't have fucked her. But my point being that I had to play the hand out with it. I would have, guys, I would have taught, if this girl didn't have a black eye, I could have brought her around. Nobody would have known she was a crack whore. Her teeth were still intact. She was in the beginning of her crack deterioration. She just caught a black eye just in an argument or a mirror or something happened over a crack pipe or something like that. But, you know, you got to play the hand out, guys. If you see a victim and they want to play it, the Comedy Store's filled with victims.
That's what, when I first moved to LA 9 years ago, one of the things that I'm so with you on this, because one of the things that I started doing is I started talking back to homeless people. I found it to be interesting.
Interesting as fuck.
It's so interesting to me because where I'm from in Youngstown, Ohio, since it's just the hood, there's not homeless people there. I mean, there is. You'll see a little one here and there, but they're not lively. They're not like acting. They're not trying to get money. They don't have efforts and things like that. And I just was like so enthralled by these people. Like, I mean, I was amazed. I wanted to make a documentary about them at one point. Like when I first got here, I was obsessed.
Pretty interesting.
And I would talk to these people.
I love it. I learned in New York, but in Boulder, I had some Vietnam vet friends that I met that were homeless. I talked to them all the time.
I talk to him for 10, 15 minutes, maybe 20, throw him a buck, and then that's it.
There's a black guy by my house that won't take my money.
Wow.
I haven't seen him. In about a week. He won't take my money. He won't take meals. Like me and my wife went to the Chinese place, I saw him, won't take the meal. I went back an hour later, he was still on the floor. He won't take handouts. He's that proud. He was like a professor, but he lost his wife. And it's very fucking interesting. Very. Let me give some shout outs and we'll get the fuck out of here. What's up, brother?
Fucking the fuck. No, I'll let you do your shout outs. It's interesting how we were talking about like prejudice and stuff. I feel like that even more than like race, like homeless people probably get the worst. Like you, when you grow up in a city, you just like your automatic response is no. Like, because if in like Boston or New York, if you give them an inch, they'll be with you for 20 minutes.
That shit is 60% of that is mental health.
Right.
Yeah.
It's mental health. Look at these people. It's not that they're homeless because they want to be. I tell you what, 20% of them, if you really talk to people, they're homeless because they wanted to check out. They got sick and tired of the responsibility. They got sick and tired of a lot of things. And I could see it. I'm 52. You guys are still young. There'll be days pretty soon that you'll go, you know what? If I lived under a bridge, I could eat free food at the church. Mm-hmm. They'll let me take showers. They give me a blanket. How cold does it get here at night? You could live outside with a tent here, somewhere. I mean, I'm not, we had somebody here a month ago that said she was thinking of living home,
Dude, so many comedians do it. I mean, there was a month in 2008, 2009 where I was in between places and didn't want to crash on the couch that I was on anymore. And I crashed in the backseat of my car right behind the Comedy Store. I'd work a shift there. I'd go to pick up my car at the Hill because back then the employees had to park up on the Hill.
Still, got to park. I give them rides all the time.
Yeah, so I'd go get my 2:30 a.m. 3 a.m. everybody's done. Maybe we already went to a diner or whatever. 4 a.m. I'd go get my car. I'd pull it into the little alleyway behind the Comedy Store. Go in the back seat. I sleep curled up into a fetal position anyway, even if I'm in a king size bed. So fuck it if I'm not in my back seat. Crash. Sun comes up. 7:30, 8 a.m. Wakes you right up. I'd go right into by then, the Comedy Store cleaning crew is there. I'd go in, take a shower. I was the only person. It was amazing. Take a shower. I'd go to the trunk of my car, had all my clothes clean, folded, organized, fucking perfectly folded, chiseled. Like, I lived better than most people do at their homes, I feel like. You know what I mean? And it's like, you can do some crazy shit. What's happening now is these people get these 24-hour gym memberships. You can crash in your car. You wake up the next day.
I told you.
You walk right into the gym. You take a shower. Get a workout in. And you're in.
I lived in Seattle. I lived in an office for $125. No bathroom. Had to shit out the window and piss out the window. You have no idea. But the gym was around the corner.
You shit out the window?
Put my ass right out the fucking window.
That's why these women have bandages on their heads.
And then I come on in. I wipe my ass, throw the paper out the window. Hopefully it will land on the shit perpendicular. And I'd walk over to the gym, work out, take a shower. I'd go back at 8, box, take a shower, and go do comedy. I used to live in, bro, that shower at the Comedy Store, that's a good shower in the main room.
Oh, my God, the
That
water pressure is
The water
insane.
pressure's insane.
Out of control.
I'd go back there, whack off, take a shit, shave, and have my towels. I took 2 showers a night at the Comedy Store.
Yep.
You think I'm fucking, that's how I know that this was a big dream for you.
Yeah.
Because that's the dream tester. When you do things that you would never, ever fucking do. I lived on Sunset and Gardner in that car for months.
Yeah.
For months I lived in that
And
car.
people are like, wow, I can't.
I never had a doubt of leaving.
Right.
Never.
Ever.
Ever. It was even better. I would go, I remember fucking going in, because I would never sleep at the store because people would always come back there.
Me
People would
neither.
stay
Same thing. In fact, the whole time that I was sleeping in that car, there was somebody that was sleeping inside the store, and I wouldn't do that. I had that separation.
No. I would go to Sunset and Gardner by Josh Wolf's house or Ralphie May's house. I'd sleep. If I didn't want to bother him, if I had like an early audition, I'd shoot to the Comedy Store, the cleaning crew, take a shower. And guys, it was like another day to me. Mm-hmm. That's how big my dream was. It was just another day. It was part of.
And that's
what
how
I
you know
had
the
to do.
dream's big, because now, you know what I mean? Like, it's like I got a fucking electric blanket. I got this queen size
got
Tempur-Pedic.
Sandies
I got
on.
salt scrub face wash in my shower, and I got a bath
But
in
if
my
I tell you
bathroom.
something,
Yeah.
if I tell you something, guys, I not only when my 2 feet hit the ground, I not only thank God or whatever for giving me another day, but every night I put my sleep apnea mask on, I turn the fan on, and that room is freezing. I look for my wife; she's somewhere under those blankets. I got the air down to 60. I got the fucking ceiling fan going. I got the air fan going. I got that, and I tell you, whenever I cuddle and I put that blanket on, I get cold at night. I give God thanks that I'm not in the fucking car anymore. And for 1 minute, I always put myself there. For 1 minute every night I always put myself, you know where the library is? By North Hollywood Park, where we used to go for the trucks. The homeless people sleep behind there in little cubicles on the I always put myself there for being how lucky I am that I have a bed that I could be. And for 2 minutes, I imagine myself at North Hollywood Park. And I go, wow, this is how real this is. This is why sometimes people go, well, Joey, sometimes you talk about the old shit. I keep my prison days in line. I keep sleeping in my car very close to me. I keep that closer to me than anything that I've considered success. I keep that close to me like a badge of honor because I know how fast everything could change. I know the slip up. You know, everybody's talking about El Chapo. That was a slip up on El Chapo's side. 10 years ago, El Chapo would never done that. But he got Netflix. He saw Narcos. Now he's going to see your special on fucking Friday. And he might be away. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
10 years ago, he never thought like that. But somewhere, you know, even if he wasn't doing drugs in your drug demented fucking mind, he let a little window open. I always try to keep that window shut. That's why I put myself there. I always take myself to the darkest time of my life every day for 1 minute.
I love that.
To think about how fucking lucky I am. But I basically do it at night. Like how lucky I am that a rat's not running by me. Or how lucky am I that I'm not opening up my eyes and seeing a possum 3 feet from me walking, or a raccoon. And it happened, guys. It's happened. Looking down and seeing a water bug next to you where you're like, I can't sleep. And fucking sitting on a wall where you're falling asleep every fucking 10 minutes. Right. That's what makes me get up in the morning.
How long do you think that would have lasted? Like, you wouldn't still be living in your car now. You would have given up by now.
Well, 19 years. I fucking hope not.
But
that situation lasted for me from 97 to 2000. I had a 3-year situation where I wasn't homeless, but I also didn't have a roof. Right. I slept on Josh Wolf's couch. I slept on Ralphie's floor. I slept in the car, but it was always the fucking dream that kept me here. I could not imagine. Listen, my mother instilled something in me. You don't come home hit. Listen, I don't give a fuck. You don't come back to this house hit. And when I left Boulder, there was no way I was going back hit. I wasn't going back hit. I was getting something out of here. Mm-hmm. Something was going back with me. An arm, a leg, somebody's fucking ear.
Right.
But I was not leaving this place without proving my point to an extent. I didn't want to be, what's that movie with Jennifer Aniston and the guy, the creepy guy I don't like, that she was like a gypsy chick and he was like a fucking writer.
Oh, are you thinking of
and,
Along Came Polly?
Yes, and that the actor in that movie that
Ben Stiller.
No, but what's the guy that was in that movie?
Oh,
that died from heroin.
Seymour Hoffman.
Seymour Hoffman plays a guy that
You
a
don't
lot
like
of
him?
No, look at the guy he plays. He plays a guy that's like a comic that will live the rest of his life off one success. And we'll talk about it for the rest of his fucking life.
Right.
Well, I didn't want to be one of those guys. I wasn't going to go back and say, I was in Spider-Man 2 in 2003 when we worked on Spider-Man 2. And they're like, well, that's all you did? Yeah, that's all I did. I needed to do, and I could prove my point. No, for me, it wasn't that. I wanted to prove my fucking point to my family. I wanted to prove my point to my ex-cunt wife. I wanted to prove my point to my daughter, who mattered in those days. But most importantly, I wanted to prove my point to myself that I wasn't leaving here.
Right.
I wasn't just going to leave here and become a comic. To survive in L.A., you have to be gay. You have to kiss ass. You have to be a fucking faggot. No, you don't. You got to have balls. It's the opposite to survive in fucking L.A. When you go on the road and you work shitty B rooms, you work with those comics. I used to live in L.A. It's a fucking faggot's paradise. Right. You need to be a sucker. No, you just weren't good enough, or you thought you were too good enough.
Wow.
And that's tremendous fart. That's some Chinese garlic. Anyway, let's give some shout-outs here. Happy birthday to my main man.
I think you just gave a shout-out.
Oh, shit. My main
Shout it
man,
out of your ass.
My main man, Bobby Sharon. I love you with all my heart. They sent me some tour shirts. You got to see these fucking
He
things.
loves you all his fart.
I love him with all my heart.
That was amazing, Joe.
Oh, you know how I do.
Does that happen regularly?
Regularly.
And he blamed it on me last podcast.
Well, yeah,
See, I don't ever get to hear farts. I got this little frame. I don't ever have like real man farts like that.
That was a tremendous fart. Paranormal, I love you. Dallas Courts, I love you. Cameron Barr, Ricardo Calderon, Joe Odell, Death Squad Nashville, Death Squad Charlotte. I'll see you motherfuckers in a few weeks. Tracy L., thank you for the gifts. And David Christensen, I love you, cocksucker. That was a very good fart.
What did you have for lunch?
Garlic chicken with some steamed rice and vegetables.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be a good one.
That's a good. That garlic reaches into your intestines.
Oh yeah.
And I had oatmeal for breakfast, which is already cleaning. The oatmeal is really the work. That's the work of art. That goes deep into your intestinal tract.
You don't have good farts? You don't get
he's a
like
skinny dude.
Skinny guys don't get good farts?
He just started eating meat again. You still back on that?
Yeah, I'm back big time.
No more vegan. That's it.
Chicken for lunch, steak for dinner. It's amazing.
Okay. See what I'm telling you,
Having fun with it.
Fuck yeah.
I'm excited about things.
You have to be.
Yeah.
You have to be, man. Part of doing this is the enthusiasm. Listen, part of anything is enthusiasm. If I come to you, nothing is happening in my life. Look at you. You're a fucking dreg. You're a fucking dreg. You might as well shoot yourself.
Right.
If you're enthusiastic and, you have heart and you have a fucking dream, the sky's the limit. Whether you're a plumber, a lawyer, a dentist, you fucking work at Burger King. If you work a Subway and that's your option, you could be the best Subway guy there is. You could turn out to be just like fucking Jared. Banging 14-year-olds and eating turkey sandwiches, no protein in it and shit, and coming that little weak fucking child molester sperm that they get. Because that child molester sperm has to be just like nothing. It's like scrambled fucking brains. They got no heart.
Oh, I thought it was gonna be the total opposite, like even more, because they're so turned on.
It comes out like all like colorful.
Disgusting.
Kids
fucking disgusting. So tell me about this special. When is it there?
It's out tonight, 3 a.m. East Coast, 12 a.m. Midnight. Tonight on Pacific time. It's tomorrow, the 15th of January, where we go live on Netflix. It's uploaded at midnight.
And what are you doing tomorrow? You gonna watch it at the store with some people?
I'm actually going to Atlanta with Joe Rogan tomorrow. We're doing a theater, so
fuck it. No, you're not celebrating.
Yeah.
So it's tomorrow night's Atlanta, Saturday's Tampa, and Sunday you're going to watch the fights.
Yeah, and I'm at Caroline's February 5th and 6th, which is big. Anybody in New York, please come, because that's a huge venue that I'm trying to fill up. It's crazy. But that's the first time I'm headlining New York City, man, which is like insane to me. Because when you're an LA-built guy, all the way, and you wonder sometimes, being from Youngstown, Ohio, was New York, but here I am, and it's a cool path that I feel like I'm on, and I'm so excited about these shows at Caroline's.
And where were you last week?
Last week I was in New York and Boston, yeah.
Okay, you were at Laugh Boston.
Yeah. I wasn't even actually. I was just helping. It's like a top secret project for Comedy Central.
Okay, so you're just helping them out.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. See, you're always making it happen.
Yeah, I'm
How
excited.
about you, fuck stick? What do you got going on?
You
this
bring me
week?
up on my special though, so that it's important for your listeners to know that you can.
That's
see.
why I had you on today. I knew you were on Friday on the Kid, and I knew you were on Joe. And usually I won't. I'll stagger you.
Yeah.
I really want your special to do well. I'm very proud of you.
Yeah.
You're a product of the store.
Thank you, Joey.
I never think of it as Tommy and nothing like that. I think of it, you're a product of the store. Those four walls have a magical effect on individuals who have a dream. And people who listen to the podcast are at home going, if I listen to Joe Rogan, I listen to you or Ari, I always hear the fucking store because it runs through our veins.
Yeah.
A couple of weeks ago, I got into an altercation, and I want people to understand me. I'm not a part of the mafia. I was never a Boy Scout. You see tattoos on me? You see any tattoos on me? You see me the earrings? You think I see tight pants? Am I a hipster? I've never been a part of no organization. I'm only a part of one organization, and that's the Comedy Store. If I ever get a tattoo before Mercy and Jackie and my fucking wife and a Jew star or whatever I'm going to put, the Comedy Store tattoo goes with me into the grave. Lee, when I die, take the Comedy Store shirt, rip it, don't send it to nobody. Put a cross in it, wrap it up, and put it on my feet. I'm taking the Comedy Store with me because that's who made me and that's who I was. I will kill you at the Comedy Store.
Right.
I will live and die. I don't live and die for anything. I don't give a fuck about the Catholics. I give a fuck about the Jews because they're my brothers. But the Comedy Store, comedy's what saved my life. Yep. And it's, I have the utmost fucking respect for comedy. Utmost respect for comedy. People who do it in any other single way. It's the people who put it down, and the people that have no disrespect. Nothing bothers me more when somebody calls somebody who's not a stand-up a stand-up. Mm-hmm. They're a comedic actor. There's a director who says cut and action, and they run it through editing. What you and I do at the Comedy Store on a nightly, it takes something else. Mm-hmm. I never pat myself on the back for anything. I am very happy that God put stand-up in my path.
Yeah.
And I don't care about specials or I care that I survived. And I grew with it, but what really is going to help you in the future and any other young comic, and I've talked about it here on the show before, how important it is that I interact with young comics. It's what makes me a better comic, watching you guys, supporting you guys in my head, letting you know I'm in your corner. Because when I was at the store and I was you, those motherfuckers were cunts, Jack.
All right.
Those older dudes were cunts. And I made a point, if I ever get to that level, I will always give these guys respect that they deserve.
And it's, exactly when I first got to the store in 2007, it was the exact same way. There was a lot of older door guys that were just have done nothing and are just
angry
were
and
mean,
and they're
angry. And what's crazy is that on the contrary, now things are sort of starting to pop for me. And my whole podcast, and sort of like how all the young comics look at me as the story, is like, wow, that's Tony Hinchcliffe who gives us the chance to go on stage for 60 seconds and get, what's cool about Kill Tony isn't that like they're being judged. It's not like that. It's that they get to talk to and hear anything back from. Imagine if when you were starting, if Dom Irera's sitting there and making fun of you, you'd love it. Or if he's giving you advice or what to do to a joke. And like these comics are so grateful for Kill Tony. So on the opposite end, not only am I not hating, not only am I, trying to push anybody back, I'm giving them a little.
Kill Tony Monday night?
Yes.
What's the date?
It's
the
fine.
17th.
We almost forgot to announce it, but yes,
The
this
18th,
Monday.
17th at 8 o'clock. I will be
And what's
there
cool about that is I'm having a small little get together for my special right after that show. So it's like a tiny little.
Are you gonna have food? Are you
After
going
party.
all out?
Yeah, I think we'll figure something
Sure,
out.
you gotta
Yeah.
have some
There'll
food
definitely
there,
be
'cause we
food.
won't come if there's no food. And if we can't come, I can't show.
We'll get some pizzas and
No,
some.
no, no,
we'll,
no.
we'll wrap
No,
some
no.
lady.
Bandages, yeah.
We'll wrap
gotta-
some ladies' heads in
You
bandages.
gotta get him a little pastrami. He's Jewish.
Okay.
Don't offend him.
Okay.
You're gonna have Jews there from CAA.
Yeah, you're
They
right.
don't want to eat no fucking Domino's pizza.
You're right.
Get yourself a nice little pastrami. Let the Jews know you got that back. You
Yeah,
understand me?
I love that.
love
So
it.
you're on Kill Tony. You're the one everybody's wanted forever.
Monday the 17th, I'm at Kill Tony, and Tuesday the 18th, I'm doing Ari's show about crime. So I'm gonna
cool.
disclose one of my many criminal endeavors that I haven't spoken about. I want to give a shout out to Onnit. As usual, they're my number one. I love them to death. I live and die by Onnit. Whether it's the Alpha Brain or the Hemp Force Protein, I love the chocolate. Listen, I could sit here for 3 hours and get the web page and dictate it to you. You don't need that. You need to go to the web page and see what works for you and how it's going to work for you. Whether it's the Shroom Tech or the T Booster, they have everything. They got you covered. You travel, the Shroom Tech Sport. Listen, you're going to get sick, but I'd rather get sick once a year than 6 times a year of the amount of flying that we do. We will have a bug, and we have to catch it. So listen, go with the Shroom Tech Sport if you want more energy to work out, more lung power. That's why my heart was beating out of proportion last week because I dropped the fucking Shroom Tech. But I love you guys. We'll be back Sunday night. Again, Netflix tomorrow night. My main man, Tony Hinchcliffe.
One shot.
One motherfucking shot. One more shot. Because I love you. There's no place left to go. Anyway, I love you, cocksuckers. The Savage Dad tour starts January 28th in Charlotte and the following week at St. Louis in Helium. Tickets are on sale on my website, and that's basically it. I love you, motherfuckers, with all my heart. Stay black, and I hope you got something out of this podcast. Hold on one second. I got to play something for you guys real quick so nobody gets upset or their feelings hurt because you know I love you, motherfuckers, always. And I love you. Stay black. Have a great weekend.